This is a guide on how to speedrun Crash Site on Perfect Agent. The time I set is 3 minutes 52 seconds. The first thing you might notice whenever playing this game is that there is no hover bike here for you, and I'll show you how to unlock that or how to get that in your level after this playthrough is over. This level is a paradox in that it's actually easier to speedrun it than it is to slowly and carefully take your time playing it. I was trying to describe what it's like to speedrun levels in Perfect Dark on Perfect Agent, and the best way I could describe it was drawing the analogy with time splitters. In time splitters, if you waited around and took your time, more enemies would spawn in and you're not really doing yourself a favour. And the same could be said with this level. I found that when I was trying to complete this level, the more time and care I would spend taking out the enemies, the more the game would throw at me. But if you quickly try and run through this level and take the route that I'm showing you now, you'll find that you have to kill a lot less enemies. So we're going to take our hover bike underground and kill the presidential clone. Watch out for this little part you can get stuck on. I've had to actually restart the mission one time, I was stuck so badly on this. There are two Mr. Blondes near the mouth of this cave. It's optional to kill these guys. I would recommend you do, because they'll probably just follow you and annoy you if you don't. This is the first remote mine we use, and if you time it right you can actually take out the president's clone and 3 Mr. Blondes. And make sure you aim a little higher than usual, because if you aim too low on this you'll actually stick a mine to your hover bike. The next of the mines are used to take out the 4 drones that are in this next part. You get 2 at the start and then there are 2 more around the corner. If you throw a mine too close in there, it'll take out the actual president, so you don't want to do that. You are at risk that there are going to be people following you at this point. I can't really say exactly how many people or when they'll be following you, but just be cautious, you'll probably have to improvise a little bit. Make sure you get the golden magnum off Trent, and again you'll probably have to be taking out some guys behind you. So once you've punched the gun off Trent and the president's yours, you take the immediate right, and this takes you up to where Elvis is waiting. There will be a few people around here. I managed to spy the guy right away. Have a look back at the tunnel just to see if the president's following you. Once you see him coming, make a run for the UFO, which is just straight through this little arch. Have a good look around this area because there are people on patrol, and most likely the president will be followed by a few straggling enemies. So take some time to take these enemies out. There shouldn't be any more than 3 to 4 following you. I know the target time is the exact same as the time I set in this video, and the reason for that is that the target times are all based on how I first got my crown, and I just haven't found a faster way of doing this level, so I can't really improve on this time. But if you've been following my other videos, you probably will be on a much better time anyway, and you could afford to take up to a minute more on this level. So we now have to make our way to the alien spacecraft, and I really like the route I take here, but it's not without its risks. There are 2 enemies. We're going to go up here and into the left, and there are 2 enemies we have to kill, which aren't too bad. The risk here is actually strafing across this gap, and I make it first time here. That's the one part of this level that's a risk, and I would recommend you practice that maybe on Agent. Okay, so this is when we need to switch to the golden gun. With it, it's a 1-hit kill on the turret, and it's a 1-hit kill on the alien spacecraft. Otherwise you need to use almost 2 clips of sniper ammo or 2 clips of the K7 Avenger. So it's just much quicker to use the golden magnum at this point. Alright, now you're probably wondering why you're watching footage from Air Force One, and this is how you actually get the hover bike in your level. First of all you need the key card, but once you get it, just press that button and it falls down. You don't actually even have to complete this level, just quit out, and I'm actually doing that on Agent as well. Not that it really matters, there's not much you have to do. Once you then load up Crash Site, you'll notice even on Perfect Agent that the hover bike is now here for you. There are a few levels in Perfect Dark where what you do in the previous level affects what happens in the next level. A few that come to mind are the mine in Chicago Stealth. Depending on where you place that, different doors open up once you play the G5 building. and depending on how you enter Air Force 1 will start you at different points in the level. So some things to watch out for in this level. Well, I would actually recommend, if you have the cheats unlocked, to put on a cloak and to just walk around this level on agent mode and get familiar with it. It's a bit maze-like, this level. It reminds me of a mix between Statue and the surface level from GoldenEye. If you have the cloak cheat and the infinite ammo cheat, you can just walk around the entire level invisible and get your bearings. Earlier I said that I really like the route I take here, and that's because it's very unlikely for anyone to be following you at this point. Often what's quite annoying about this level is people will come up behind you and kill you when you're too focused on what's happening in front. And the reason that it's unlikely that someone's going to be chasing you is because you have to jump over this gap. It might be worth practicing this jump, because I did actually fall once and it would be a frustrating time to die because it's so close to the end. The second thing I like about this route is the approach. There are 3 ways into this area, and the other 2 have both drone guns looking at you, whereas this way only one can see for the first while, and that gives you enough time to shoot it and shoot the spacecraft. This was a previous time I had set which I wasn't happy with, so I went back and tried to get a better one. Another thing that can go wrong is when you're trying to kill the President's clone with the mine, it can actually stick to your hover bike. And as funny as it looks, I actually tried to salvage it here by just driving my bike towards him, but it didn't take out the other guards, so that's pretty much game over. You really have to exaggerate the arc, point up quite high so it doesn't stick to your bike, and this is what it should look like. I take out the 3 Mr. Blondes and the President's clone with that, and that's ideally what you want to get, because it just makes it so much easier. And if you kill the first 2 at the foot of the cave and you kill that one, that's everyone, that's all the Mr. Blondes wiped out down here. And as I said earlier, be careful when taking out the drones that you don't actually kill the actual President. I've fallen for that one. Depending on how thorough you've been taking out the enemies in the tunnel below, you may have a few stragglers that follow you up to this part. And just check out this guard animation. There was absolutely nothing I could have done against it. Clearly the computer doesn't need to reload the way we do. If you get the wrong animation on any of these guards, you can just be really unlucky. But after watching this level and knowing what way to tackle it, hopefully you'll find it a little easier. I personally don't think this was one of the hardest levels to speedrun. The next level in the Perfect Agent speedrun is Pelagic 2 Exploration. You can watch this by clicking on the video to the left. There's also an individual crown for this level called Magnum PI, and you can watch that by clicking on the video to the right. If you'd like to support my channel, you can do this on my Patreon page by clicking the orange button below. For as little as $1 a month you can get early access to any of my videos, and it would really help me out. Another way to stay in touch is through Twitter or my Google Plus page, or you can just subscribe for the next video. I hope this video helped you to speedrun this level.